Welcome. Let me share with you a story. A story of two men who went drinking one particular night in a particular town. The first one was so drunk, he was walking home in his drunken state, and the route to his house passed through a cemetery. It was in the dead of the night. He was all alone. When he got to the cemetery, something happened. You see, that day, someone had died in the same city, and they had dug the grave expecting to bury that man the next day. Our drunk friend got to the cemetery and fell into the ditch. He began to make efforts to jump out of the ditch. The more he tried, the more difficult it became for him to jump out. So somewhere along the line, he gave up. He gave up trying and decided to hide in the dark part of that grave because the moon cast a shadow on the grave. He was expecting that the following morning, when those who would bury the dead man would come, they would pull him out before they would put the coffin right in there in the grave. So while he was waiting, the second man, who was also drunk, began to move in that direction. He too had to pass through the cemetery, and unfortunately he also fell into the grave, the same grave. Alright? So the second man began to try to jump out. He began to attempt to jump out. He also could not jump out. All that while the first man was hiding in the shadows, watching to see what he was going to do. Eventually he decided to tell the second man not to bother to jump out, that both of them should stay there till the following morning, so that those who were coming to bury the dead man would pull them out. So when the first man touched the second man flew out. He flew out of the grave. You know why? He thought it was a dead man who was touching him. He thought it was a ghost. So he jumped out. You know what? There are many things we think we cannot do until we find ourselves in some desperate situations. And I just want to encourage you today that the best can't come out of you until you go through challenges. You're like a tea bag. The best won't come out of you until you are in hot water. So take heart, take courage. Whatever you are going through right now can become the stepping stone to your next level of success. Welcome to Success Power. I am Sam Adeyemi, and it's my pleasure to have you once again on our broadcast today. We've been discussing how to be lucky, and we're going to discuss some more on that. Essentially, being lucky depends on the law of probabilities, and the law of probabilities says that an event is likely to happen under certain given circumstances. So if you create those circumstances, then you're likely to get the results that you want to get. Why do people fail? Have you ever wondered why people fail? Why people seem to be unlucky? Why things don't work for people? I have an answer. People fail essentially because they are ignorant of the laws of success. Our world is governed by laws. Those laws have no respect for location, they have no respect for persons, no respect for status, like the law of gravity. If a poor man in Nigeria jumps from a 10-story building, he'll fall down. If the President of the United States of America jumps from a 10-story building, he's coming down. When you build your life on laws like that govern this life, success becomes very predictable for you. And more importantly, just like when you jump from the 10-story building, invisible forces pull you towards the ground. That's exactly how, when you obey the laws of success, invisible forces rush into your life and help the fulfillment of your dreams. Well, most people are ignorant of the laws of success, but then some people who even know these laws of success choose to disobey them. That's why people fail. That's why people are sometimes unlucky. However, for you, my dear viewer, I am absolutely certain you have decided to accept the fact that God wants you successful, and secondly, you've decided to take responsibility. You will do what you have to do, like I am doing. All of us are going to be successful together. Thank you for joining us today. I'll be back after this break.
Success Why do individuals fail? Why do nations stagnate? Why are countries politically independent but financially dependent? Discover answers to these and other questions in the book The Second Revolution by Sam Adeyemi. The book Second Revolution examines how colonization breeds poverty, low self-esteem, and the mentality of irresponsibility. The Second Revolution also teaches you how to break free from the mindset of slavery and lead your nation to freedom. It is the key to positive, radical transformation to success in life. To order for this book, please call 01-875-1234 or 0805-445-4466. The Second Revolution by Sam Adeyemi. Your best chance to succeed.
Success Power.
Welcome back. This is Success Power. I am Sam Adeyemi. We are discussing how to be lucky. Now, dear viewer, you would have realized that luck is something that you create for yourself. Have you ever seen anyone who used to have bad luck and who now seems to have good luck? I mean, someone who was living in the poor part of the city who is now living in the wealthy part. Someone who used to wear bad clothes who is now putting on good clothes. Someone who used to be stranded in life, confused and jobless, but who now runs a business of his own, or who now has a beautiful family. Have you seen someone like that who was not lucky and who is now lucky? That sounds like my story. And I have a feeling that also will be your story. We must accept one fact. People create their own luck. It's your responsibility to create your luck by discovering the laws that govern success and by choosing to obey those laws. For example, we have mentioned on this broadcast the law of vision. Where there is no vision, people perish. What you see inside you today is what you're going to see on your outside tomorrow. Also, the law of planning. Setting goals, deciding specifically what you're going to achieve in the short term, medium term, and long term. And then there's a law of action. Nothing moves until you move. And then I should also add the law of persistence. The law of persistence. You see, things don't always work out the first time you try. That's the reality of life. Things don't always work out the first time you try. So you realize that the people who seem to be lucky in life are those who try 7 times where the average person tries just 1 time. That's persistence, staying with it. It's just human nature for us to run away, for us to walk away, for us not to try anymore, just simply because things have not worked out for us. But I have come to realize if you stay there, if you try again and again and again, you increase your chances of success. There's a law called the law of averages. You see, the more times you try, the higher the likelihood that you will get the result that you want. Let's use the example of throwing a dice when you're playing Ludo or some other game. What is the probability or the likelihood that you will score a double 6? The only way to get that is for you to continue to throw the dice. The more times you try, the likelihood, the fact that you will achieve a double 6. So we have to try. But you see, we can get discouraged so easily. We can give up so easily. I came across a statistic that has to do with selling. 80% of sales are made after the 5th call. In other words, if you want to sell a recharge card, or you want to sell a book, or you want to sell shoes, or you want to sell a bag to someone, or you want to sell an insurance policy to someone, 80% of sales are made after the 5th call, after talking to the 5th person or talking to the same person 5 times. How many people try 5 times before they give up? And you know what we discovered? Those 80% of sales are made by only 20% of salesmen. Most people give up after trying the first time or the second time. So you increase your chances of being successful or lucky if you are very, very persistent, if you are one person who does not give up easily. So I'd like to encourage their viewer that you become a dreamer, that you become a planner, that you become action oriented, that you become a very, very persistent person. Be the one person who is still out there trying when everybody else has given up. There's a man named Thomas Edison. He invented the light bulb. See, when he was carrying out his experiments, he tried and failed so many times. When he had tried and failed 5,000 times, his lab attendant said to him, "Sir, let's give up on this thing. We failed 5,000 times already. We're not getting any closer to the answer." Thomas Edison said to the lab attendant, "Son, we have not failed 5,000 times. We have only discovered 5,000 ways in which it will not work. We are closer to the answer now than when we started." You see, eventually they failed 10,000 times before they got the result. But that one result that they got solved the problem for the whole of mankind now. You see, the one time that you get it will make up for the 99 times that you missed it earlier. Failure is not really failure until you stop trying. The person who really is a big failure is the one who stops trying. If you continue to try, ultimately you will become very, very successful. And may I encourage you, if you're going through a hard time now, you failed an examination, maybe your marriage failed, or maybe your business has failed, you've experienced a downturn in your finances, I should like to encourage you, this is not the end of the world at all. It's just normal for us to fail. Really, successful people are failures who refuse to give up. Failures are potentially successful people who give up very easily. You can succeed if you don't give up now. However dark the clouds may be over your life, the sun is still shining. If you hold on long enough, the sun will still shine over your life. Some years ago I took a flight, and it was the first time I would see an aircraft